Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Student Senate Campus Safety Town Hall meeting. We're very excited to have all our guests here and learn about how our campus deals with campus safety today. So would you all mind introducing yourselves?
Elisa Pacer, I'm the Emergency Preparedness Manager. I'm Alicia Brady Hoff, I'm a counselor here on campus.
Greg Russell, Chief of Police.
And Barbara Larson, I'm the Executive Vice President for Finance and Administrative Services.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started, and I believe you also have we are under tornado watch today, so we will first receive instructions about what to do in case that turns into a warning.
So I don't think I need a microphone, so just briefly, the National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch for Johnson County, which means that we are just monitoring the weather, and we do take a few preventive actions on this campus. We went ahead and sent out text alerts, email, Twitter, and Facebook notices, just to make sure that people are paying attention. So in the event that we would move to a tornado warning, we would move to the center classrooms just across the hall here. And we would lead that effort. We have lots of people that are informed in the room. So, and the restrooms are also always a good place to go without windows interior core. Sorry about that. Any questions? No? Okay, thank you.
Okay, would you like to go ahead and start your presentation then?
So again, I think I need a microphone.
Yeah.
It's being recorded. I think you do. Test. Okay. So again, for those of you just entering the room, my name's Elisa Pacer, and I'm the College Emergency Manager. And just thinking about some of the questions that you folks might have related to campus safety, I thought it would be a good idea to start off with just a few slides to introduce some of our programs, especially if this information is new for any of you. I'm hoping some of it is not new, but I want to make sure that you folks know what exists as of today. So hopefully around campus you have heard or seen posters, flyers, brochures, announcements talking about the COPS program. When we say COPS, it's K-O-P-S, and it stands for Keeping Our People Safe. And this is our umbrella program related to emergency planning, preparedness, and campus safety. There are 4 modules related to the program, and they each have a symbol or a graphic that kind of represent each of the programs that I'd like to talk about. I'll briefly go through the 4 of them, and everything that we document or posters and so on usually have these icons with them to represent which module they're talking about. I'd also like to draw your attention to the red and white striped border. So as you see red and white striped borders across campus, know that that's emergency information, and you might want to pay attention to it, okay? The eyeball, or the COPS watch, is the first module, and in my mind, and hopefully we train on this, this is a prevention module. And when I say campus prevention, this is a way that we encourage early reporting of suspicious activities and behaviors so that we can be aware and investigate. There's a team called the Behavior Intervention Team that receives all of these either anonymous or non-anonymous reports and decide and assess the different threat levels as to what the report contains. So there are 6 different categories for reporting. We did bring some brochures with us today that talk a little bit more about the program, but some of the categories include crime tips, welfare alerts, suspicious activities, behaviors. So basically the motto is, if you see something, say something. And we would rather know 1, 2, 3, 4 times than not at all, because it allows us the opportunity to investigate that and see what we might have. Does that make sense to everybody? So it's an early reporting methodology. There are 2 ways to report, and we have some wallet cards up here in the brochure. There's the website, so you can report online, or you can report via an 888 number. They ask you the same questions that you would fill out the report online. So there's 2 ways to report. And the nice thing to encourage with students is that you can report anonymous or otherwise. Maybe you just don't feel like getting involved, but you feel like the college or the campus or the police department should know about this. Okay, good. COPS Alert, which is the second module, if you just look downwards, it's the universal symbol, the exclamation point for alert. And in my mind, alerting is twofold. Alerting is you folks letting us know of a campus emergency. Maybe you're the first ones to witness something. Maybe you're the first ones to tell us about something so that we can alert the rest of the campus. Or us letting you know that something is occurring on campus like we did today. How many of you received the text message or the email related to the tornado watch? Good. Love to see that. So we have what we call an opt-out program for alerting for mass notification, meaning that if you are an active student or an employee of this college, you are automatically enrolled in this system. It's called Rave Alert. We call it JCCC Alert. And you do not have to sign up. We just need to make sure we have your right mobile phone number so that you receive those alerts. And if you received it today, you know that we have your right phone number, okay? You letting us know of an emergency, the campus police phone number, 913-469-2500, is a direct line. It's highly recommended that you put that in your cell phone as a speed dial, as a quick reference for contacts. Something that I do, I usually put a star or a number in front of it. That way it appears at the top of my contact list, and I don't have to scroll down through campus police or however you coded it, police, JCCC, police. Emergency phones. We have I believe 46 towers and garage phones across campus. So these phones are available for your use. It's possible, maybe your cell phone, the battery went dead during the day because you used it so much. Maybe you forgot your cell phone at home. These phones are available for your use, and you can either push the emergency button for help or the information button. Say you had a flat tire or you need assistance in a parking lot. That's what they're there for. They do get used. I'm pleased to say that there aren't a ton of emergencies that they're used, but more so for assistance and for general vehicle calls and those kinds of things. So our emergency notification systems, how we let you know of an emergency, we text and we email. We have a public address system as a campus standard throughout every building on this campus. We use our digital signs. How many of you were in class yesterday and may have seen our drill, the pop-up full screen alert that was in your classroom, either on a lab computer in front of you or like a full screen alert if your instructor was presenting? Anybody? Great, that's kind of impressive, right? So all computers would show that or display that. We also take advantage of social media for Twitter and Facebook, as well as the college website as a main source of information. So keep in mind that we use that multimodal approach so that we can reach as many people as fast as possible to notify based on alerts. And we call those JCCC alerts. It's possible that we may need to make you aware of something other than an alert, like an information only, something that's good to know or that you need to know about, and we do that through different crime alerts and those kinds of things if we would have to. The third module is COP Zone. COP Zone is the directional arrow which tells you where to go, and in my mind that's really twofold. So it's where to go outside of the building, and we have emergency assembly area gathering points that are signed with signs usually in common gathering areas and or parking areas, and there's a map online if you want to know where that is designated for the building that you're in. There are storm security areas, so if I'm not going outside, like today, we wouldn't want you to go outside if we had a tornado warning. Where do we go inside the building? And I think Marcia, in most classrooms, has a map, she's gonna hold it up for us, that shows the gray shaded areas on every building floor plan. That's where you would go for storm security. Okay, any questions about that? Yes. Can't read the maps. You mean visually? Well, I do know that specifically for those that may not be able to, that may have a visual impairment that can't see the maps, on the college website, the maps are all online. And all of the storm security areas are listed, meaning they're listed out, not just visually on the map, but they're listed as a paragraph, so that if you had that audible announcing turned on for computer to assist you, it would be able to read where those storm security areas are. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. So about 2 years ago, we also added, so say you come to this room every day for a class, and in the beginning you knew it was CC 234, but now you just know where it's at and you forget the room number. We added the room numbers to the whiteboards of every classroom, so if I needed to pick up the phone in this room and report an emergency, I would click quickly, as a standard, be able to look and see where the medical emergency was occurring and those kinds of things. So that's a good point. Hopefully, people can utilize the buddy system. You know, if there's, maybe if I didn't understand something, maybe the person next to me does and can help lead me in the right direction. And we spend a lot of time training our faculty and staff to know what to do as well, to help guide our students in the right directions. So does that answer your question? Okay, good. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a way to, so our professors go over the emergency procedures with us at the beginning of the semester. I get that. And as a veteran, we know that like doing the protocols at least once, you know, we do them more than once, but it helps kind of ingrain that, especially because JCCC can be difficult for new students to navigate. And a lot of these stairwells, you can't tell whether they go outside or to another, you know, just another floor, or like I know that there's a stairwell that I go down that like it stops and the doors are locked. You know what I mean? In an emergency situation, when I'm just trying to get out of a building, I'll know all my exits just because that's who we are as people. Okay. But for other students to get stuck there and, you know, potentially something happen, it would really be helpful if every one of our professors on the first day of class, and I know it sounds like kindergarten, but sometimes, you know, you got to go back to simple stuff, could, you know, take everybody outside to show them this is where we meet if there's this drill. This is where we meet if there's this drill. And, you know, it would only take, you know, a few minutes out of each class, but potentially you could be saving lives in, you know, in the long run if students know, because most students aren't going to run to the map. You know what I mean? They're just going to run in the direction of everybody else.
Right.
You know, so to have that, you know, a lot of students, if you take them there once, they can get there again.
That general awareness, and then, like you said, human behavior, you're more likely to know what to do if you've gone through it once and actually physically went through the motions. That's a very good point. So I know that there's several folks in the room taking notes for me today, so that's a great point to bring back. Yes, sir.
Going off what you said, I have an idea or suggestion. So, like for new student orientation, you could, everyone do ALICE training, just make new students inquire that into the orientation, just so everyone knows what to do in case of an emergency, stuff like that, instead of,
Okay,
yeah, just an idea.
great. Thank you. We'll take that back. I think that's a great idea too. I would love to do that. Absolutely. One more question, and then I'm going to move on. So we have several other panelists. So.
Classmates tell me that they don't actually, they can't look at a map and know where to go, and if they were actually taken there once, they'd know absolutely where to get to every single time. So.
Okay, so validating what Steph said. So great, thank you, appreciate that. So lastly, so where do we go? And then the COPS plans icon is the what do we do? So, and I'm pointing to this, there's a college emergency response plan, and it's the standard guides, no matter what building that you're in, that you would follow the what to do, how to egress. The things that are building specific are the assembly areas, the actual rooms that are storm security areas. That's why the maps are really helpful. And everything that I'm showing you or referencing is also all online based on the Campus Police Department website. So, and it's also available on the mobile app. So, and we'll talk about resources in just a moment. But these are the what to do. And then keep in mind that we have an emergency operations plan, which is basically the behind the scenes. So once we do our initial response, how do we, as a college campus, respond, handle communications, media response, and make executive decisions on closures and when will we reopen, all those big level decisions. So we have that plan in place. There is a public version of that plan also on the website. And then there are tons of standard operating procedures that we follow, like the one we do today for a tornado watch, where we're unlocking storm security areas. We're making direct contact with every building with our building emergency leaders as our people that wear the vests that get you hopefully where you need to be. Okay. I'm going to go quickly through this. We're not going to show the Alice video today. How many of you have seen the 9-minute Alice video? How many of you are in the 9-minute Alice video? Sorry. Ron, that was just fun. Chief, Ron. So the ALICE program was adopted in 2012. ALICE is an acronym that stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate. It is not a sequential order, folks. It's all about options and principles so that you are better prepared instead of freezing in place to know what to do with an active response. And if you've not seen that video, I would highly recommend that you do that. We have trained all of our faculty and staff in this type of training, more in depth than the 9-minute video, obviously. But we made the student video because we want to share those principles with you. And it could save your life. I really believe that. No matter you're here at school, you're in a movie theater, you're at church, you're at the mall, it's principally based on wherever you might be, okay? Next, I just wanted to mention there is a new app. Who likes apps? Coming out in 2016, and it's a campus safety mobile app, and it's going to be available on Droid or iOS operating systems for Apple. But the features of this app are, as you see in the picture, there's a panic button, so you can reach campus police without remembering the phone number. You can one-button response and reach them no matter where you are, and it automatically activates your GPS so that we can pinpoint your location on campus. It also gives us your profile, which it talks about a safety profile, so that when you set that up, if you had a visual impairment, or if you had an allergic reaction or an allergy that you wanted to make campus police aware of, you can list all of those things so that we're more prepared when we respond to you. You can set personal guardians and safety timers so that if you were walking to your car late at night or if you were on a date, you can set those personal guardians in place so that your family and friends know that you got home safe and they're not worried about you anymore. And then tip texting, so two-way texting. I've heard over and over again that folks want to be able to text the police department, and now's your chance. So we can hear about those tips on different types of things that you might witness on campus, and maybe that's the easier way to let us know things, especially when it's urgent or an emergency. There are a ton of resources, as I mentioned, the mobile app, the Campus Police website, come to the Campus Police Department in person. It's in the Carlson Center lobby. My name, email, phone number is a reference, and I'm going to turn over to the next speaker. Thank you, John.
Alicia Bradyhoft, and she is from the counseling, and she'll let us know how counseling affects campus safety.
Thank you, John. Thanks for the opportunity to be here today. I'm one of the counselors here on campus. Have any of you actually been to the Success Center on the second floor of the Student Center? Okay, so that's where we're located. It's a central resource for students. All kinds of services are provided there. Career counseling, registration, financial aid. So it's a great place to know on campus if you're not familiar with it. Counselors here provide that support for students. The counselors on campus are all master-level counselors. So if you have a concern or you've had an experience that you want to talk to somebody about, we're there to help process that. We do quite a few things here on campus. We do the career development piece. We do the response piece on concerns from students. We deal with crisis students. We have probably a daily occurrence of faculty members referring students over or staff who have a concern about a student. So we're there to be that connection for you on campus and help you find any external resources. One of the great programs we have here on campus is we have the ability to refer out to a support program. It's the Student Assistance Program, and the college will pay for up to 5 visits to have some extended contact with a provider, a therapist, if that's what someone needs. So again, we are here to serve the students in that regard. We also do the majority of the academic advising on campus. So it's a holistic model of meeting students where they're at based on what your needs are. And as most of you know, we deal with quite a variety of students on our campus. Does anybody know the average age of our students on campus? Very good, 26.5 is our average age of students. Very good, wow, you know your facts. We also, just kind of in general, we get 1 out of every 5 Johnson County High School seniors each fall. So if any of you attended any of those high schools in the area, 20% of those graduating classes come here each fall. So we have a wide range of students that come with a wide range of different places where they are in their life and have different needs, and we're here to help support that. Any questions about the counseling center or how we help? Okay, that was easy. I got the easy one.
I need no introduction. Uniform speaks for itself. Who are we? We're 22 strong. We're here every day of the year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We will provide any service related to assisting you in whichever capacity you ask. Escorts. If you are here at night classes, and you, especially the ladies, also the men, you're walking out to a out parking lot. Don't feel like you have to make that walk by yourself. Our phones in the hallways, if you pick it up, 4112, we'll get an officer to your location and we will pick you up and take you to where you need to go. Our numbers, we were able to get a direct number for the police department to avoid going through prompts, 913-469-2500. You should put that in your phones. If you do need us, we will be able to get to you a lot quicker. For the most part, we're three-dimensional: a police car, foot patrol, bicycle patrol. You should see us anywhere, everywhere, at a given time of day. The emergency phones that are placed throughout the college, if you were to pick it up, we will come to your location. The location is already stamped into that phone. Pick it up and we're there. Again, I have a crime prevention officer that will periodically come to you wherever you are, make a request for his presence. He'll deliver a safety presentation to you. I have a detective, and we handle anything from a misdemeanor, basically a city charge, as well to felony charge. We work closely with every office in this campus, especially student service with Dr. Weber. For example, when you think of police, you think of an incident, you automatically think that individual is going to jail. In the real world, that would happen. That's not necessarily the approach that I take. I look at the individual, I look at the crime, I look at the outcome. Am I going to ruin a student's career for a 75 cents theft? I would like to think that I would make a judgment and err on the side of that student. We all make terrible mistakes. We all do dumb things. That's a dumb thing to do. So I will contact student services and ask them to take the lead. Whatever punishment that they find necessary, I'm comfortable with that. That is the difference between community policing, our campus police, and the outside world. I can't tell you that if that same incident occurred at Macy's, at some other location, you're going to be able to end up with the same disposition. That's not going to happen. We understand that the only reason you're here is to get an education. And we want you to achieve that in any way possible, in every way possible. So I like to give an individual a second chance. I say I treat people as I would want to be treated. So first and foremost, I respect you as an individual, and I expect you to respect the uniform. A police officer will only react to you the way you react to him or her. If you come at us with profanity, then it's pretty much over. So respect the uniform. We will respect you as a man, as a woman, as a student, as a member of our community. We want to embrace you. We love to embrace you. We should engage when we see you. If you have an issue, my office is in CC 115. Please come and find me. If you have a complaint, if you feel like an officer has done something inappropriate, please bring it to my attention. A young lady came in the other day. She gave me a car number. And she said, you know, that officer failed to stop at a stop sign. So I called him in and told him that regardless of what you do, because of what we stand for, what we represent, someone is watching you. So he was, in a way, verbally reprimanded, and he realized what he did, remembered what he did, and promised not to do it again. So I can live with that. So I know there is a burning question among you all with campus safety. Okay, we've got some things pending. I ask you to please be patient. We are going to work and act and perform in the best interest of this campus. There are things pending. As soon as we are able, we will engage you as a community person for the college, as a student, as a faculty member, as a staff member. We will let you know in which direction we're going and what we can and cannot do. So with that, I will stop and take any questions.
Does the police department here offer any self-defense classes to students?
We just certified one officer through self-defense, and we're looking into a program, first starting with my officers. It's been a while for some of us, so we want to get up to speed with our training. And then we will reach out and offer that, especially as other agencies are doing. They're offering a self-defense class for women. So, but we want to encompass everyone. So yes, we do plan to do that. After spending a few dollars to get them certified, we are looking now at making it a college event.
Thank you.
22 strong, that's a huge number. I never would have guessed that, though. I do see you guys around sometimes, and I assume that you do have better things to do than to walk this campus. But I think it would be nice if we saw maybe a stronger presence, especially with the 22. I'm here all day on campus, so I walk back and forth from building to building, you know, constantly on the go. And I do see one or two here periodically, but I don't see a strong presence from the campus police. I was wondering if there is any way maybe you could make a stronger presence. It seems like just knowing you're there and the respect for the uniform, that it could deter a lot of things.
Sure. Let me say that that 22 strong includes one chief of police, 2 sergeants, 1 crime prevention person, and a detective. In the real world, those 4 individuals will be tasked with administrative assignments. Because we do a little bit more, we are actually all police officers. So you see me on patrol. That will never happen in another police agency. So when I say 22 strong, please break that down into 24 hours. In a given day, which is days where I have most officers, I may have as many as 5 to 7 in a given day. Taking in training, taking in sickness, taking in vacation, taking in off-time requests, emergency situations. We do the best we can under the conditions that we have. we promote going out and being visible. So I will take back what you said, what you pointed out. Look at it, digest it, dissect it, and see if we can give more of a presence than we are doing at the present time. But again, it's a 24-hour operation dealing with 22 police officers. And as the day shift, evening shift, dog watch shift, I have to provide adequate for each of those shifts. So you will not see 22 during the day. And if that was misleading, I apologize.
No, sorry. It wasn't the 22. I know that you all have different jobs, but very periodically, and you do see a lot in front of the bookstore, you see one quite a bit, but you don't see them in different places, like moving from place to place. Just more of a, I guess my concern is a deterrent. I'm very confident in the police force here. I'm glad we have such a strong presence, but it seems like if they were more mobile, it could deter, just makes people think about what they're doing before they do it. When they know could be a cop present at any spot at any time.
Thank you for your observation. Again, I won't try to defend what you're not seeing. I just know that we do our best. We try to make ourselves visible during the shift period, and it's something that I can take back with your concern. I will share it in all roll calls.
You also mentioned response time.
I do, let me give you an example. Up to date, we had approximately 24,000 calls of service to the police department. Within that 24,000 calls of service, our response time was 1 minute and 26 seconds. That is huge, and that could be anything from a door unlock to an escort to an emergency call to a crime that was reported, hit and runs, traffic accidents, anything. So again, we pride ourselves on how quickly we can get to you. I would like to say we're always going to be out there, but sometimes we're tied up on one call, and it takes everyone to handle that one call. Any other questions? Yes?
You were beating around the bush earlier, when you said things are pending.
Yes, sir.
What exactly were you meaning by that?
Well, I think you know. I know. We have this gun issue that's about to come to in existence. I would like to say again, it will be premature for me to make a comment, but I can tell you based on the research that I just did yesterday, it's very encouraging. I don't want to take the lead on it until I'm given permission. I've got my boss right here. I'm sure she is monitoring everything I'm saying, but you will be notified. And what we do, we are 17 months out preparing for what we will be able to do. So we are well ahead of the average college, the average university. So again, I won't speak until I am able to address the subject.
Actually, excuse me, that's one of the reasons why I came here today, because I am deeply concerned about it. And I know that you stated that it was the research that you did was encouraging. In which direction was it encouraging? I'm a little confused about that because, you know, I speak with a lot of students on campus every day. I'm also the president of an organization on campus and have been very involved in gun safety issues for a long time. I've been a student off and on at JCCC since 1998. That may be showing my age a little bit, but that's okay. With that said, I have a son who will probably be on campus in about 5 years. And at that point, this law will have taken effect. Many students across campus have spoken with me in particular, and just I've run into students having this conversation among each other, even today for that matter. And they are talking about how concerned they are for their safety in the future, how we don't know, you know, because it is permitless concealed carry now, how are we going to understand which students are able to carry and which aren't? And I know that you can't necessarily speak on that at this time, but I do want you all to know how important this is to us students and parents, and how many of us really do not agree with the legislation that was passed. And we want to just feel safe on campus. And many of us would like to put together groups in order to make sure that this happens. And that's something that we're talking about. But, you know, I'm a little confused about what you said by encouraging. So if you could help me understand that without getting in trouble, that would be great.
Let's see what I can do. Number one, we were tasked by our president to be proactive. So he, most of all, sitting at the top, is very concerned over this issue. That's number one. Number two, we are looking at what other colleges are doing to prepare. Again, for three, when I said I saw something encouraging based on my research, in the real world, guns are going to be here. We hope, and I pray on a daily basis that we will be allowed to remain as we are, with the proper signage, with the proper signage in the buildings as well as the exteriors. I am hoping that we continue to go in that direction. Again, your politician is that person that you can contact to have a greater result. If you let your representative know as a constituent where you stand, which you will not allow, it would definitely help all of us. So again, right now, I would like to tell you, ma'am, that in my way of thinking, if I had it my way, we would not have guns on campus. I mean, that's what I honestly feel. I'm not a gun person, but I have a weapon because of my responsibility. But again, preparing for the opposite of that, how can I make you feel safe? I don't know if I can, other than to tell you, to give you guidelines on what you should do to make yourself safe. One of the things we didn't talk about, for example, an armed intruder coming into this room. I think when you look at the losses statistically, it's all because everyone complied with that gunman and made themselves either a sitting target or standing target. For me, I'm going to make the ultimate sacrifice to make sure that everyone in that room can get out. That's me. That's my thought process. So I am saying to you, given the opportunity, as she said with the ALICE program, if you can encounter, then you encounter to minimize the damage. Our response time, again, speaks for itself. We're hoping that we will get there within that time, because take the worst scenario. You didn't have armed police on the campus, and you had to wait for Overland Park to respond. When you look at the last campus shooting, the amount of the casualties were greater because it took longer for law enforcement. You have a very well-trained police department here on campus, and we will do everything in our power to make you safe, to give you the feeling that when your son gets here, he will be safe as well. Yes.
Going on from that top, from another perspective, hypothetically, if we were to have the gun policy over here, thank you. If we were to have the gun policy over here, would it be possible to see which individuals have the gun, specifically for you guys, and to expose the ALICE program to them? Because I've done research that guns don't actually help you, but I'm just wondering if someone comes with the preparedness of the ALICE program and a gun, they actually know what to do.
Okay, so you're getting into a hypothetical situation.
Yeah.
What if we have guns on campus? What is my responsibility to that person with a gun as well as the rest of the student body. I hope that we take the proactive approach, and not hope. I know we will take the proactive approach and go through a gun training for that individual or for other students. That may involve having lockers to where we can lock guns. It's going to involve a whole range of training. So we will make that offer. That because you have a gun doesn't mean that you are an expert with it. So we will do everything within our power to make sure that the training is adequate enough to where you, without a gun, sitting next to the young lady next to you with a weapon, feel as comfortable as you possibly can.
Thank you.
Sure. Sir.
Gentlemen.
I just want to say, as far as like the level of engagement and professionalism and community involvement that I've seen from the officers on campus is second to none. We've had tons of, or many of your guys' officers come in. We had one do the Spencer C. Duncan Memorial Run with us. They're constantly being involved in our activities, engaging, and I feel like building those relationships are what will bridge that gap if you know we do come to an armed campus. You know, having that sort of repertoire with the students. So I just want to say thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, we are running a little short on time, so we're going to go ahead and move to the next presenter. There hopefully will be a question and answer period after this.
Dr. Lawson wanted to clarify something.
Yes, I just want to clarify as we talk about the law, the exemption, just so that everyone's clear. We are under an exemption so that our facilities can remain free of weapons other than obviously those who are authorized to carry them, our police. The exemption is set to end on July 1st, 2017. So we are being very proactive. That's 19 months away. We're also watching states that are, I guess you'd say, ahead of us. In Texas, they are under a similar situation, but their campuses will have weapons be allowed. People will be permitted to have weapons, I believe, by August of 2016. So I would also say that this is evolving, that there are certainly some unknowns and there is time. So again, we are being, I think, very proactive in looking at how we can address things as they occur. But we are, just so that everyone understands, we're still about 19 months out. All right, thank you.
While we're 19 months out from the exemption expiring, we are 9 months out from the primary election on August 2nd. The people that are elected on August 2nd will decide whether to extend the ban on campus guns or allow it to expire. So if you, and I know that somebody tweeted about contacting your congressman. Don't contact your congressman. Look at openkansas.com to see who, I think it's .com, and maybe .org, to see who represents you in Topeka, and find out what those people think about the ban or the expiration of that ban. Because the people, like I said, who are elected in August of next year will make that decision. They will vote to extend the ban or just simply allow it to expire.
Can you guys hear me okay? So I may not need this, actually. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So we will need this. I'm going to be short and sweet because I am short, but I'm not really that sweet, but I kind of am. But we'll get to the point on what it is that I do. I'm Dan Robles. I'm the Crime Prevention Officer for Johnson County Community College. And what I do for the college is basically promote crime prevention, and there's ways that I do that, and that's through, some of it is a cops-oriented policing, which is a community-oriented policing program which I work under, and it's kind of a model that I use. And the idea is, behind this program, is to kind of reach out and touch the campus community, and that's what I do. When I was at Prairie Village, I retired from there, I did similar things there. College asked, can you go ahead and do what you did for the city for the college, and that's what I do now. So what's nice about it was on some of the crime prevention information you guys see in the lobby areas. If you've seen some of the bookmark type crime prevention cards, all I had to do really was just take off Prairie Village Police and put Johnson County Community College. So that was really nice. You know, no sense in reinventing the wheel. I kind of like that part of it, and changed a few other things. But it's same type of thing. And what I've only seen is just a lot more students. You know, when I was in Prairie Village, not a lot of students, more just general public. But there's a few things that we do, and I reach out and touch people different ways. And how do you self-promote what you do? And it's done this way. We go ahead and get with different people. When I first arrived here, and in my position that I do, I'm thinking, well, what can I do? How about getting stuff on the TV? How about getting on the CAV radio? How about getting crime prevention signs out? How about just doing all the different things we do, the bookmarks, magazines, info list, info share, anything you could do to get crime prevention out there is what I started doing and what I still do. And coming to this meeting today, I mean, these are great ways to just reach out and meet people, touch people. They know who I am. I know who you are kind of. I'm not really good with names, better with faces, which can be good and bad. But the idea is just to get the information out to you guys. And what you're thinking sometimes is, well, gosh, I already know to lock my car. I know that I shouldn't leave my book bag here. I know I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do that. But you know what? People still do it. And they do it quite a bit. Our number one thing we have going on campus is actually theft of items. You know, your phone. People leave their phone there, leave their purse, they leave their backpack. We have actually kind of like hot zones. Where do you steal stuff from? People know these things because the bad guy says, you know what? I'm going to go to the library, and I'm going to go ahead and go there and steal from there because people are studying, people are doing their own thing. And I'm going to go ahead, and I got to go to the bathroom real quick. So they leave their phone, and they go to the bathroom, and come back, and their phone's gone. These are the type of things that happen all the time. Or they leave their backpacks places. So our hot zones, you look at the library, you look at the Commons building area, Rainier Center, not so much. That's kind of a cold zone. It's not really a place where people like to go, but the gymnasium, great place. So you go to the gym, you're gonna go work out, you say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and leave my purse, and I told my wife this last night, because she does this. She leaves her purse sometimes on the floorboard thinking nobody can see it. Bad guys looking around, go down the aisles of cars and look and see, well, there's a purse. I'm gonna break the window out, and I tell my wife, now we gotta pay for the window being broke out, and the contents of your purse, and the identity theft, and your wallet being taken, and calling credit card people. I mean, can you guys follow me on all this? It gets crazy. So the whole idea is to try to nip it in the bud and get crime prevention information out to people so they kind of get the idea of what it is we do. And there's different ways that we do it. As I told you, the bookmarks, talking to people, writing things. Somebody says, hey, can you talk about crime prevention? We even go outside the community. When I say that, let's go ahead and go to, when it's not really far outside, but let's go to 91st and Lamar and talk to some Girl Scout group about being safe. We do that. People think, well, that's not on campus, but we reach out to the community, and that's part of community-oriented policing. We'll go to different places. I've been to Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Missouri, just different places, talking to some schools, some different organizations about crime prevention and what it is that we do. And some people have even said, and this is on LinkedIn, they say, Dan, what is it that you guys do? What do you guys do to get crime prevention going? Had Park College guy sent me a message. I'm the new Park College director. Can you come to my campus? I haven't let you know this, Dr. Larson, I'm sorry. Can you come to my campus and help us with crime prevention and community policing? I said, sure. And to me, that complements our police department and what Chief Russell represents and what our police officers represent and what I try to do and promote for crime prevention within the college. And that's kind of it. You're thinking, man, that's kind of short and sweet. That's it in a nutshell. I'm short, and I'm trying to be sweet. You guys follow me on that? But that's in it in a nutshell, kind of what it is that I do. I'm also the public information officer. So if something happens on campus, maybe it's like a crime-related thing, the news are going to go ahead and say, hey, what happened here? I go through the direction of Dr. Larson, our chief, President Sopchak, and they're kind of like a voice box, if you will. So they stick me in front of these cameras, and I get to talk and put this stuff out about what happened. And the hard part is try not to stutter, try not to say try not to say and doing all those things that people do when they talk, which I'm trying not to do right now. And that's part of it. But it's being a salesperson for the college, and I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I like to get out. I like to speak to people. I can't get out sometimes as much as Derek is talking about. You may not have seen me much, but you'll see our pictures of us, promotion processes that we do, so it's kind of behind the scenes. Everything that I do as a crime prevention officer has to be invented because they never had one here before. Prairie Village was the same way. You think, oh gosh, I'd love to get a bookmark out about purse safety. I'm thinking, well, there isn't one. So you got to create one. So it's all self-creation. Self-creation for the needs of the college. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. If you guys want to get a hold of me or contact me, drobles2@jccc.edu, or you can just go ahead and do a search engine and you can find me. CC115, not far from Chief Russell's office. And that's basically what I do. If anybody has any questions about anything, feel free to ask or shoot me an email, and I'll be glad to get back with you. Any questions from anybody? First, second, third, nobody? We good? I covered it all? Go ahead. Crime prevention officer for Johnson County Community College. He's a funny guy. Are we good? Okay, Dr. Larson, thank you.
Thank you, Dan. You've heard from our experts here today, and I guess I'd like to just reiterate how important this topic, safety for the campus community, for all of you is. To let you know how important it is, we have 2 of our board members here, our board of trustees. These are the 7 individuals who are setting the direction for the college, and we have trustee Stephanie Sharp and trustee Nancy Ingram who have joined us today. So again, I want to acknowledge them and how important this topic is for all of us. I want to thank John and the officers of the Student Senate for hosting this, because this is important, and this is just one of many topics, many conversations about this topic. I am really impressed that board members and Johnson County Community College leadership, long before I got here, recognized how important this is, and we have the most professional, the most well-trained police staff that I have had the pleasure of being involved with, and I've been at several community colleges. They also created a position, an emergency preparedness manager. Again, at many other colleges, that's 1/10 of somebody's job, and we are so lucky to have Elisa Pacer here doing what she does. And finally, and I want to acknowledge our Vice President for Student Success and Engagement, Randy Weber, as well as Alicia from counseling, because we are an institution that, as big as we are, we really do connect the dots. The fact that Chief Russell speaks with Randy or Alicia or Dean Paul Kyle or Pam Vassar on a regular basis when there are issues. This is so vital that people are communicating about issues, and the fact that we have a behavioral intervention team that meets regularly and as needed as any one of you brings something of concern up. So we are doing so many things well. We can always improve. I really appreciated the comments here. And I know we're running out of time, so if you have questions, but thank you again for hosting this. This is terrific.
Okay, I know at least one of our presenters has to leave at 1 o'clock, and we were only scheduled to go to 1 o'clock, but I would like to go ahead and open it up to questions, and we do have some questions coming in on social media. So I'll start with Chase back here.
Hello. Okay. Oh, hey. I'd just like to say, and at least for myself and probably everybody in the room, we all feel so much safer being in the presence of officers, and we really appreciate that while we are in your presence. But something that isn't feasible is having somebody who would be willing to do what you do in the classroom with us all the time. But who we do have in the classroom is our teacher, and I think in general we all really respect our teachers, and we really probably do feel safer around them. And I wonder if it's possible to give them some sort of training or even possibly arm them, because I know I would feel a lot safer if my physics teacher was back. Thank you.
On? There we go. So we do spend I spend a lot of time. I offer student training, and to be quite honest with you, students don't come in droves to attend my classes that I offer. Happy to get the few that we do on occasion. I know everyone's very busy, but we spend a lot of time focusing on training our faculty and staff, our building emergency leaders. In 2012, the ALICE training was mandatory for every faculty and staff member to attend so that they could be that leadership role in the classroom. I know a lot of information is provided in a syllabus as far as emergency response. We conduct drills on a regular basis. So I spend a lot of face time in front of faculty and staff. I know timing's not always perfect for faculty, but we try to reach out in as many avenues as we can to provide that level of training. Like Dr. Larson said, there's always room for improvement, and definitely reaching out, and that's something we'll take back with us today. Thinking out of the box, how can we get their, time and attention? What are the best avenues to do that? So I appreciate that comment.
Okay, I have a question from Twitter, or a comment actually. It says, I am concerned new students are not required to take ALICE training. It should be added to new student orientation. I know we've talked about that a little bit already. Would you like to comment on that?
I'm happy to do that. I would love to see that happen. So however we can make that possible, I know that we will take that back as an action item for discussion. So absolutely, so appreciate the comment.
I really like the fact that there's going to be a JCCC Guardian app. I really love that idea. I was hoping that there'd be a possibility of elaborating upon it, adding maybe, when we were discussing the tornado watch maps thing, how everyone would crowd around it, just like a kind of Google Maps thing, like where to go if you're in a room, like you'd be like, where are we, CC 234, and then it goes like, go directly here, and then they just show like these pictures. So it'd be like, oh, that's where I go. And then they would just automatically go to that location.
So what I think I hear you saying is like a wayfinding app, but
Yeah.
to include the emergency locations.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
so they could just follow the map and then go directly to there without understanding what that map says because everyone's around it, crowding around it.
Who here creates apps? Anybody?
I don't know.
It's a fabulous idea. I know that a couple years ago, we were fortunate enough to have Google come here and actually physically map our campus.
Perfect.
So a lot of that wayfinding is available. There's got to be someone that has that intellect that could make something like that happen. So, as we always say, there's always room for improvement. I think that, that's something that could be helpful. So we'll take that back. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
I would like to note, you do have note cards in front of you, so if you don't want to speak your question into the microphone, feel free to write your question down and I'll come get it and ask the question. Here's another one from Twitter. It says, I'm concerned that JCCC police don't notify students when something important is going down on campus.
Well, to speak to that, we do, and we will inform the campus, and it's under what we consider a timely warning. For example, in the past, whenever we've had an incident that we feel is a danger to the college community, the campus, we will put out information, a description of that individual, and we will report in real time of where that individual is or was last seen, where that individual may be headed. So we do always, whenever we get to an incident that is a danger, we will alert the campus community. And of course, we will use the RAVE app. We use our signage, our digital signage, and if necessary, we will use the PA system. So it depends on the level, but at no point when we consider that there is a danger, for example, a robbery across the street that occurred approximately 3 weeks ago, we were very alert based on the information we got from Overland Park PD, and we were in place that if that individual with a weapon was on our campus or headed towards our campus, last seen coming towards the campus, we would have alerted the college community. Fortunately, he went in a north and a western direction. So based on what we had, we knew the campus was not in danger, so there was no alert given. One of the things we want to safeguard against is giving you an alert and it creates a panic situation. So we weigh what we get very carefully before we decide to issue an announcement to the campus. Under the Clery Act,
under the federal guidelines, we are bound by those laws and regulations to alert the campus anytime there is a danger. So we will not fall victim to that. In my absence, we go 3 deep. We have people that can take my place and get that information out to you. So that will never happen at Johnson County Community College.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
I have a quick question. How many officers are here at night during the night classes? And then a follow-up.
In the evening class, or let's say from the 3 to 11 shift, I have 5 officers dedicated to that shift. And again, on a given, depending on time off, training or whatever, I could have as few as 3, maybe 4. My night shift, I have 6 officers here. Again, because of the college is now closed, we have more buildings to protect. So there is movement, but again, even though I mentioned those numbers, taken to consideration that we will have off days, we will have sick days, we will have training days. So those numbers may not all be here at a given time. It's virtually impossible.
Okay, thank you. And then I have a quick follow-up about, you mentioned students being able to get escorts to their cars or anything like that. It seems like it'd be pretty difficult if a lot of students were requesting that. And I know I've had quite a few people come to me and say they are worried about lighting in the parking lot and things like that. And so I'd just like to follow up and say that I think that'd be something worth investing in, is having better lighting and better visibility around campus.
Absolutely, and the lights will remain on this campus until 11:30. In some cases, the lights are on 24, at least through 5 a.m. in the morning. Again, I am not so concerned with the amount of requests that we get for escorts, because we accomplish that. So I don't want anyone to take that risk and say, well, it's a minor thing, so I'm not going to bother the police officer to walk me to my car, to get me to my car or whatever. That is a thought that that he or she should never entertain. So we are here as a service provider. That is why I say what I say and we do what we do. No task is too small, no task is too great. I want you, when you come on my campus, that you leave in the same fashion that you arrived in, safely.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we had one more question. We're a little bit over time, so this will be the last question.
I'd like to discuss the Ellis, and if I could just go back a second to the active shooter last year, or the active or non-active shooter. I think there's a little bit of confusion, but that's kind of my point. I think there was a lot of things that went wrong. I was hoping maybe you could discuss some of the things you've learned from that. And as I said, for me personally, I don't think it was a good outcome, other than the fact there wasn't an active shooter here. And I'd love to sit here and debate many topics on this, but for the sake of time, I'll just focus on one, and that'd be the evacuation. And if I could, just real quick, kind of tell you my story about my evacuation. I was up by the MRC in the hallway, sitting on a chair, and someone come and forced me into the Math Resource Center, and I will reiterate, forced me in there. I was about 10 feet from an exit door, and for me, all I wanted to do was leave. I think it would have been safer if I would have just left, and I think it'd be safer for anybody to at least have that option to leave. For whatever reason, I wasn't able to leave, and I was forced in the MRC. For anybody here that don't know what the MRC is, it's a resource center we have here on campus. And the whole glass, the whole wall, the size of this wall right here, is all glass. And I was stuck
2 inches from a glass window, shoulder to shoulder with everybody, and forced to stay in there. And for me, I'm just a setting target. And I was kind of wondering why I couldn't leave or couldn't evacuate. And I just want to let you know, I think that that right should be given to anybody to leave at any time. So if you could maybe discuss that a little bit.
The incident that occurred on September 4th is under client-attorney privilege. Therefore, I am limited to what I can say. But what I will say to you is that given the opportunity to leave, you should leave. Understand from that incident, we learned quite a bit. We learned how to better lock down this campus. We learned that our search techniques was not the appropriate at that time. We learned from so many things that occurred as a result of that lockdown that I can guarantee you, moving forward, what you experience, you shouldn't experience again. Now, take into consideration, we had Johnson County Police Department here. I had Kansas Highway Patrol. I had Overland Park Police Department. I had Johnson County Sheriff's Department. I had Park Police. I had previously worked 16 hours that day. I was at home when that incident occurred. I did everything within my ability to get back here as quickly as I could, which I did. I ran probably 85 miles an hour on the highway, weaving in and out of traffic to arrive here safely, to take control of our operations center. Again, once I got here, I realized that we could have implemented things better, and we did. So, again, moving forward, not to dive so much into the negative of what occurred back then, but what we will do going forward. And again, from the training, from the coordination, and what we are doing now is a kind of a leader into police agencies, working with medical, EMS, working with the fire department. Historically, the police and the fire department never get along. Well, the state of Kansas, this region, Johnson County, with Overland Park Police Department, MEDAC, they have taken the lead to bring us together as a group that in the event of emergency, we are now getting better training to operate as one unit to give you the best or provide the best for you that we can. I guarantee you it's being proactive, and other states will follow into what we are doing. And again, you experience something that we have learned from mass shooting incidents. If you have an opportunity to leave, as Ms. Pacer pointed out, you should leave. It was a learning experience. We've learned, and I can only promise you that we will do better going forward.
Thank you, and I would like to thank all of our panelists today. It's been very informative. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Feel free to get some refreshments in the back, and that concludes our town hall meeting.